Hey guys, what's up? It's Frank here from Altcoin Buzz. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever in the world you find yourself. So today we are seeing a lot of red in the market. We are seeing double-digit red numbers for every single altcoin, actually, other than FTX and Chain, here in the top 21 cryptocurrencies, which of course includes even Bitcoin at minus 17.1% over the past 7 days. But here at Altcoin Buzz, we have a focus on altcoins, so that is what we are going to do. Today we are covering the graph, GRT, USDT. We're going to look at it from everything from the weekly down to the 4-hour time frame. There is a very clear downtrend, but there is a certain pattern which might play out, which is actually a bullish pattern. But of course, we'll have to wait for confirmation for this pattern. And of course, you will have to wait until the end of the video if you want to see what that pattern is and how that bullish breakout might occur. Now, for those of you who don't know, Altcoin Buzz is first and foremost a crypto investment research company, and we have been providing you numerous 100x returns since 2017. So if you want to get in on that action, join our Altcoin Buzz Access group, where we document up-to-date research covering undervalued altcoin gems, NFT minting opportunities, and our portfolio strategies. So if you want to take part in the action, click the link up above or down in the pinned comment section down below. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so that you don't miss any future updates. And finally, please note that none of this is financial advice. So before I get started with GRT, it's actually important that we have a look at Bitcoin, because as you can see, Bitcoin had this critical support level, the $28,625 level, and we are in free fall from that level now. And unfortunately, there isn't any notable support in the vicinity. So really, the only next notable support is around the $20,000 level. We are currently at $24,675 and falling. So really, this is going to influence the rest of the cryptocurrency market. As you can see, we are seeing minus 17% for Bitcoin, but most of the altcoins, as is very common, are seeing even bigger negative numbers. And GRT, for example, is seeing also minus 35.2%. So this is quite a brutal dump. I just want to warn you, if you are trading or if you are buying, especially if you're buying here, just remember we are technically in a downtrend and you are playing against the trend. All right, that being said, let's start by looking at the weekly chart. Here at the weekly chart, we can see there was this descending triangle, which usually is a bullish pattern. But of course, even the patterns which are bullish, you have to note that there's something like at most a 60% chance that they will break bullish, according to many statistics. There's basically no pattern which is more than about 60 or 65% accurate in terms of which way it's going to go. And that's why you have to be watching the charts very meticulously to wait for these signals that it's going to break into one direction or the other. So here, for example, we could have expected a bullish breakout, but if you're a cautious trader, you would have waited for the breakout, you would have saw that it didn't happen, and we actually had a break to the downside of this diagonal line. Now the weekly chart here is clearly in a downtrend. The only hope for the bulls is that we are approaching the RSI 30, which is of course the level below which we are oversold, and at that point we might see a slowing down, but really there's nothing else stopping us from seeing more downwards price action on the weekly chart. Now on the 3-day chart, we are seeing again this descending triangle pattern forming. This is a separate pattern. The other pattern you might remember was actually over here, and we had a break to the downside. But now, of course, there is this other possibility that this one will hold, and that's why we do have some potential support at the bottom of this diagonal line. But again, we are approximately, we could actually fall almost 40% before we even reach that line. So really, this is not a market that I would recommend being a buyer in. There is some hope that we will create a bullish divergence on the RSI, but again, we have to wait 1 day and 16 hours before this candle closes, before we can even determine that this is a bullish divergence. This is, I repeat, not a bullish divergence yet. It's just a potential bullish divergence. Okay, coming down to the daily time frame now. Here we are seeing what happened here. We had this bear flag, which was in the form of a descending triangle. And interestingly enough, one of these traders noticed this a couple days ago. You can see before the triangle had finished forming, he predicted that we would get down to a support level potentially of $0.1032, and actually we have exactly reached that. Just shows that, you know, technical analysis can work, you know, if you are making educated guesses, if you are waiting patiently for price points and not just making emotional decisions. And really the most rational thing to do here is to wait before making, I would say, any trade, because right now we are in free fall on the daily time frame. We have this increasing bearish volume here on the daily time frame, and we even have a potential bearish crossover on the MACD. So really nothing good for the bulls on this time frame. Now on the 4-hour time frame, here you can see that we have been in the oversold area for approximately a couple of days now, but again, this is no guarantee that we are going to just start going up from here. All this says is that now is not a good time to short, basically. We came into the oversold territory here back on the 10th of May. You know, we had a brief recovery on the price, you can see here, and then a massive dump again. So there's really nothing stopping us from doing that again. So when it comes to support levels, the only really notable support level is here. I'm going to draw it here. It's really a zone because it depends at which point on which day we reach this, but it's going to be anything between the 0.0668 and let's say approximately, I mean, if we come and reach this support, then between the 0.0455, I think that would be the most likely. So let's just say approximately the 0.575 level. And again, this is a zone more than it is a level. But just to give you an idea of where we might find a bounce. Because really the next support below that is absolutely non-existent when it comes to market structure. Now, when it comes to resistance, of course, we have plenty of that because we are in a downtrend. The first resistance would be the previous support at the $0.1333 level. The next resistance would be the previous double top here at the $0.1754 level. And then the next major resistance would really have to be this diagonal resistance, which we'll see more clearly on the 3-day time frame. As I mentioned, this is the only hope for the bulls right now, that we actually break through this diagonal resistance, which has formed ever since 9th of February. We had 1, 2, 3, almost 3 touches here. So if we break through this, this will definitely be a good sign that we are seeing at the very least a slowdown of this bullish momentum. And this resistance would actually already be broken if we break through this previous resistance that I mentioned at the $0.1754 level. Most likely, because if we go up, we are unlikely to have a shoot up from here. We're more likely to consolidate over here for a while and then break through that, and then also break through this diagonal resistance. So those are the first 2 major resistances. And if we do break through this diagonal line, then let's have a look at the bigger time frames to see where the next potential resistance would be. We are seeing a volume cluster starting approximately the $0.27 level. So I would say that because this aligns with previous lows, approximately this level, let's call it a 0.3 psychological level, that I would estimate to be the next resistance. Because as mentioned, the good news about breaking the previous resistance of 0.1754 is that there's a bit of a liquidity gap, and that we could easily see a, well, yeah, I mean, it's shocking, but we could easily see a 67, even more percent if we go from the base of this. We could easily see a 70% move up from there. But again, it's very dependent on us, first of all, breaking the $0.13 level resistance, and then the 0.1754, and then it could be an interesting longing opportunity. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out my previous videos. Here's a video on optimism and Decentraland that I made a few days ago. I tried to keep things simple and easy for you to understand. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next one.